Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, an enormously revolutionary way to sell your stuff online. It's time to clean out the garage, your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over and over. Then I found buysellmakeoffer.com. They will never charge you item fees. Just go there right now to sign up and load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Sell your car, sell your home. Realtor, sign up now. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos, then add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building. I've signed up to sell my stuff with buysellmakeoffer.com. You should too. buysellmakeoffer.com.
I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com, and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free. DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is down $5 at $1,249 per ounce. Silver is 6 cents higher at $16.31 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $423 US. Robertson Roberts has been a trusted source for physical precious metals for nearly 40 years. Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
And Daryl.
We're talking about Red Light Robin Hood, a true, real-life hero who is saving people from getting red light tickets in Long Island, New York. He's doing this by actually going and cutting at least one cable. I'm not sure how many. Did they accuse him of cutting more than one cable or just the one, Daryl?
He admitted to doing one. He admitted to using some sort of stick to push one of the cameras to point towards the sky. He put out a YouTube video explaining how he did it.
So a stick, at this point, is it... It doesn't seem like vandalism to me if you're pointing a camera in a different direction, if you know what I mean.
Well, I see where you're coming from, but anything you're doing to basically interfere with an investigation, which is basically what the government's going to allege. Like, for instance, the Robin Hooders here in Keene, one of them was threatened with felony charges because he was going around with a spray bottle with water in it and spraying off the chalk. That the parking enforcers had put on the tires of the cars. That doesn't seem like it's any kind of problem to me either, but to them, they called that interfering with an investigation or destroying evidence. Yeah, felony level.
Interference with an investigation, felony.
Right. Tire cleaning is,
you can't clean off the marks we put on your tires.
It's funny.
Clean off the rest of the tire.
I'm not proposing, I'm not saying that you're wrong or anything like that. I just think it's kind of, to me, I'm uncomfortable. You're using terms like, this guy's a hero, or whatever it is, that lauding him for cable cutting and destruction of government property. It makes me uncomfortable. Just this whole idea that, if it's their camera, it's okay to break it. I'm not prepared to go down that particular road. However, I think it's kind of interesting if you push the camera to skyward with a stick, you haven't broken the camera.
You've not broken the camera.
You just affected their investigation.
Right, and they're still going to charge you.
I'm clear on that, Daryl.
So hold that thought. We can continue with the actual story.
There's definitely more from this story.
Because this guy's awesome. I mean, he's got a big grin on his face in his mugshot. I don't know if your story has the mugshot in there, but he is super proud of...
I'm not saying a mugshot.
Yeah, I was looking at one of the Long Island news sources this afternoon, and this guy is super proud of what he did, and I suspect he's going to be willing to go and take this to trial. So it should be very, very interesting to continue to follow the case. You can join us.
I wonder if any of these people, because everybody basically who's in this Suffolk County, is that right?
Yes. Sounds right.
Has anybody who's gone through an intersection where he's potentially everybody in Suffolk County owes this guy, right? He's saved them in some way, shape, or form. I wonder if anybody's going to send him any money for his defense. I suspect the answer is no. And that's one of the things about this kind of activism is you're getting active and you're putting yourself on the line for a bunch of ingrates.
So let's go to the phones first. You can bring up anything that you want. We got actually topics all over the map here. We're going to start with Hung Like Jesus. He is on Skype. Oh, actually, there's something going on. Hold that thought, Hung. There's actually, I think one of the news pages that I have open is yelling audio out here, so I'm going to fix that, and then we're going to bring it back on here. All right, Hung, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, you're calling from Georgia. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, everybody. I just want to change topics drastically.
Sure.
Real quick. This is the first time I've seen Carol since he's lost his weight.
You must be watching on the webcam at cam.freetalklive.com, now streaming in HD on YouTube every night.
Daryl weighs less than I do now.
And the only person that cares about that is you, Mark.
It's just amazing.
Well, I'm watching on the big screen on YouTube. But anyway, it's just this is for Daryl or anybody actually. Have you ever noticed that when some people who are big people and naturally big people, when they lose weight, it just doesn't seem to fit them. It seems like they're sick or something. It's just
yes.
It just doesn't. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, Penn Jillette, after he lost a good bit of his weight, wound up. He looked like a cancer patient,
like sallow.
I know it's. I'm not sure if he did it for health reasons or for vanity or whatever. But I'm thinking to myself when I've seen him, I'm thinking Daryl looked a lot better when he had the weight on.
I disagree.
You disagree? Well, see, this is
so disagree with that. I think Daryl looks great right now.
I don't look that good on camera.
That might be it.
I'm not used to Daryl's face now. I got used to, and I'm the kind of guy, I want the food prepared the way I had it the first time.
You've had the same haircut for 40 years.
Right. I want the song played by the same band I heard play it the first way. I want a person who has facial hair when I first meet them to always have the same facial hair, and I don't ever want them to try to grow.
This is why you're a conservative, right?
I just,
don't like change.
I call myself an ethnic conservative because I feel like I was born this way. I just like things not to change. I'm not used to Daryl's face being thin. Now, I'm never going to be attracted to Daryl, on a human-to-human level, biological level. So I just keep my opinions to myself on this. What I hope for Daryl is that he finds some wonderful woman, which is what he's sort of looking for in life.
Who isn't?
Who is?
Well, except for gay guys.
I'm doing fine.
Everyone's looking for love.
He's not looking for a woman.
Everyone's looking for love for the most part.
Yes.
For the most part. And I think Daryl is much more likely to find a lady at his current bodily weight, because he's also like working out too. Like this, he's gone. Like you took Johnny Ray. I heard this the other night. Apparently, Johnny Ray went to Daryl's gym with Daryl, and Daryl's like turning into a personal trainer. He worked Johnny Ray to the point of like he got a little sick. You know how you can do that?
Yeah.
And I thought I was going easy on him.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I was doing
what you were
a
used to.
light workout for myself, but apparently I whipped Johnny's ass.
Yeah. So I got to disagree with you, Hung. I think Daryl looks healthy. He doesn't, he doesn't have any sunken eyes or anything like that.
I do need a tan, though.
Well, that's true.
I'm sorry, Daryl. I
in
didn't
New
mean
England.
to disparage your progress. And I hope you keep it up, and I hope you get all the muscles and the women that you want. But it's just to me, it just strikes me as strange. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I was talking to my grandmother not too long ago, and she and my aunt that she lives with had said the same thing of, Daryl, you kind of look like you're sick. And I was, no, I'm fine. Believe me.
It would look that way to someone who had seen you before. Someone who knew what the old you looked like.
And hasn't seen me in, like the past year.
Exactly.
Right.
Anything else you want to share tonight, Hung?
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Let's continue here. Your calls and thoughts welcome. We got a Bob. He's in Tennessee. Bob, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Mark, and Daryl.
Hey, guys, I wanted to make a comment about these red light cameras.
Yes.
Very simple solution. If you happen to get a ticket mailed to you, simply don't pay it. In most jurisdictions, the only thing that will happen is you'll get a negative ding on your credit report, which you can easily fight that. But in most jurisdictions, there's no the cops aren't going to show up. You're not going to be arrested. It's just a matter of a military-industrial corporation. Those are the people that make most of these cameras.
Let's talk about this.
So why not just go to trial and say, I wasn't driving?
Hold that thought. Let's talk about options. What are your options when you receive one of these red light camera tickets? 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Now you can buy, for the first time ever, the 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-329-6700 right now or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. 1-800-329-6700.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us here toll-free. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. We've got Skype as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
And Daryl.
And don't forget to check out Freedom's Phoenix. That is where they are uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the detailed real news that lies between the lines of propaganda and the relationship that we have with coercive governments. freedomsphoenix.com has up-to-the-minute updates on the economy, technology, communications, and the rise of the police state. So go to freedomsphoenix.com, get signed up for their free daily dispatch. That's freedomsphoenix.com. As we go back to Bob in Tennessee, we were talking about Red Light Robin Hood, who is this hero. Has gone and actually repointed red light cameras in different directions, like turning it away from traffic in the past. Now he's escalated to actually cutting the cable. He's admitted to cutting at least one red light camera cable, has been booked, has been arrested in Long Island, New York for this, but had a big grin on his face for the mug shot that I saw earlier today. And he's obviously not sorry for what he has done. He believes he's saving lives, and that he's certainly saving people money. The guy I think is a hero. Bob in Tennessee says if you ever get one of these red light tickets, he says you shouldn't pay the ticket. Now, Bob, can you tell us a little bit more about this? And have you personally not paid red light tickets?
Ian, my wife got a ticket one time mailed to her from one of these red light cameras, and we did a little research on the internet and quickly found out that not paying the ticket merely results in a negative ding on your credit report. So I told her, hey, let's keep the $100, why give it to the government? And nothing ever came out of it.
Now, why not challenge it? Why not use your right to a trial? Because if the government's going to come at you with some sort of ticket or whatever, you should have a right. Now, I don't know what all the different state rules are, but you should have the right to a trial. Like here in New Hampshire, if I get a $5 parking ticket, I can take that to trial. Can't you do that in Tennessee?
You could, Ian, but I have a theory that it's best to avoid the authorities at all costs. You're playing a game in a rigged courtroom.
That's true.
We all know we all know that essentially the government, the judges, they're just fee collectors. They don't stop crimes. You know, we got 30,000 murders every year in this country. The cops don't stop any of that. There are tens of thousands of rapes. They don't stop any of it. They just show up after the fact. The government, essentially, the role is to keep us down, legislate us to death, and steal from us.
100% on this. You're absolutely right, because the judicial system was created in a time frame where, you know, people would essentially lynch somebody, burn them for being a witch, that kind of thing. The judicial system was created in order to not to convict guilty people, but to protect the accused from the public in general. That's what the judicial system was created for. The maxim that it's better that 100 guilty men go free than one innocent man go to prison is not what the judicial system applies to itself by any stretch of the imagination any longer. At this point, we have something like more than it's less than 1%, far less than 1% of cases end up in trial. Charges end up in trial.
Yeah, and you know, I watched a documentary the other night on innocent people being sent to prison for crimes they didn't commit. You know, God only knows how many people are sitting in prisons and jails for things they did not commit. You know, what, 10%?
I've heard the number 15 tossed out there.
I believe it easily. But guys, listen, you know, you got to pick your battles carefully when it comes to the government, because ultimately they'll send fat guys to your house with guns to kill you.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And it's certainly true that if you go to court, anytime you're around these guys, they can do things to you, right? So yes. I get you, and I totally respect the avoidance technique. I totally understand that, but I am of the mindset of the system needs to be clogged, and this is one way to do it. If you get some piddly ticket, you take it to court. You make them waste their time, because sometimes they'll just go ahead and drop the charge because they don't want to waste their time on a $2 ticket.
And I know people that have gotten these red light tickets, gone to court and told the judge, I wasn't driving that day.
Prove I was, right? And then dismissed.
Yeah. And then the next person after them said, yeah, I'm guilty on this red light ticket. Like, they just saw how to beat the ticket, and they're like, here's my money.
Thanks for the call, Bob. I appreciate it. And I totally respect that. I get it. Like, keeping away from the government, avoidance, I totally respect that.
And I don't know whether I believe you when you say you totally respect it.
I don't blame anyone for not wanting to talk to these people and not wanting to deal with them. I don't blame anyone at all. I don't think it's a long-term strategy to, end the state, but it's certainly a strategy to try to avoid contact with them.
But you can't really hold both of those philosophies at the same time.
Because people are different, and different people have different viewpoints on what's right for them. So what's right for me isn't necessarily what's right for you.
Well, I mean, your strategy includes getting other people to do what you want.
Yeah, that's right.
To do.
That's why we're inviting liberty-minded people to move to New Hampshire and get active here, so we can have a chance at achieving liberty in our lifetime. To everyone else, I say, keep your head down. There's really, if you want to go up against the state, you should have some activists backing you up.
And I wonder, why? I wonder, sort of for myself, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to go up over the wall and charge forward, in all likelihood by myself, into enemy machine gun fire, with the intention of sort of clogging up their system?
Do you mean if you're not in New Hampshire? If you're somewhere else, if you're in New Hampshire, you've got activists. If you're in New Hampshire, you've got activist community who's backing you up and who might actually join you in that kind of activity.
In New Hampshire, let's use New Hampshire. So you advocate taking parking tickets to trial because it's a low
$5
low consequence, but the consequences of how much of my day, I've got a limited number of days on the planet, and I certainly don't want to spend, well, from what I can tell, 2 of them, which is what you've got to spend.
I don't blame anyone for wanting to do a more productive thing. I can understand that.
You got 20
taking things to court. Figure 2 days?
Because you've got an arraignment thing that they have first, and then you have a trial.
You don't have to have the arraignment. You can file a piece of paper saying, I waive my pretrial conference. Let's go straight to the hearing.
You can do that. but you have to learn by having lost that second day, ahead of time. You have to learn.
No, you can learn by listening, and someone can tell you, Mark, you can file this piece of paper, and it says this, and then you can file that. Fine. But look, I get it what you're saying, and I'm not saying this is right for everybody, Mark. It's just that if more people were to challenge these tickets, they'd throw more of them out. That's
or
the
they
truth.
Would just hire more government
No,
bureaucrats.
they can't build the courts fast enough for that.
They, all they have to do is
they only have so many
through.
courtrooms.
Yeah, all they have to do is cycle them through. They just need more judges.
It's not just about cycling them through. It takes time. It takes at least an hour for them to book. They have to book a half hour to an hour for every single one of these parking ticket trials. And they only have so much time in these courtrooms. There's only one district court here in Keene, New Hampshire. And we know from the fact that, I'm one of the Robin Hooders. I've been in touch with James Cleveland, who is one of our Friday night co-hosts. He is known as Robin Hood. He's talked to people on the streets who've told him when they've put in for their court date, it's just tossed right there. If it's not one of the activists that's putting in for the court date, it increases the likelihood that they're going to toss the ticket.
I believe you on that. I think that they absolutely.
So that's why you do it.
They did with mine,
because you
too.
can see the big picture. But if it's just not worth it to you to spend the time to try to clog the system, then do what's more important to you. I'm not, I wouldn't jump down your throat for it. Let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. We do have, let's see, Richard is in Arizona. Richard, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good afternoon.
Hi,
how are you
Richard.
guys doing?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air.
I heard on a different program earlier that they're trying to pass a law, or they have already passed a law, that says children as young as 8 years old in school can be forced to take antidepressant drugs, and just because they think that they're going to be suicidal, that they have the right to go to Big Pharma.
That sounds really disturbing. Let's hear more about it. We'll talk about it. Stand by, Richard. We'll bring you back for this. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Is what he's saying accurate? I'm not sure. We'll find out here in moments. You can join us as well on Free Talk Live.
Imagine your life 5 years from now. Are you on the path you want to be on? It's time to take control of your future by getting a world-class education from one of the nation's top universities. Arizona State University is now offering over 100 top-tier degree programs 100% online. It's the exact same degree our on-campus students receive, but you can learn from anywhere in the country on your own schedule. For information, call 1-800-939-9426. Learn from ASU's world-renowned faculty and use ASU's global recognition to improve your visibility, professional network, and gain real-world experience you can start using today. The Wall Street Journal ranked ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates. Now discover how ASU Online can stand out on your resume and help separate you from the competition. We're ready to help you learn to thrive in your life, in your career, and beyond. To learn more about ASU Online degrees, call 1-800-939-9426. That's 1-800-939-9426.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
That's negative Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage process on your own and completely online.
Copy that, QL1, but if I wanted to speak to someone, do you think they're out there?
They're out there, all right. I've made contact before. In fact, according to J.D. Power, they've provided award-winning client service for 6 years in a row.
Roger that, QL1. It's nice to know they're out there, wherever they are.
Detroit Control. They're in Detroit. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveitpurse.com.
You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've got Skype as well. Skype username is lrn.fm. With you in studio, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
And Daryl.
And you can join us online. Drop by freetalklive.com. If you like the show, you want to help support Free Talk Live, one of the ways you can do that is by becoming an amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is we could use your help marketing the show, getting on more radio stations. We've got over 170 radio stations right now. We could have 300. We could have more than that. It just takes money. It takes effort, and that costs. So we could be more effective with your $5 a month. And you get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, the AMP-only Facebook group. Go get all the details, get signed up, and we sure do appreciate it. That's amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. You can use any major credit card through PayPal. Use Visa or MasterCard right there on the website. Also, AMP accepts Bitcoin. So go and get started at amp.freetalklive.com. Richard in Arizona is on the line saying that he has heard, and I'm not sure what your source was, Richard, that some schools are allegedly forcing students onto antidepressants, presumably government schools forcing students on antidepressants. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, and where'd you hear it?
Where did I hear it was Glenn Beck. And he was very disturbed about it, too. The only thing that I can think of is that it's a ploy for future activation, because I think that anybody as a youngster, a young teenager, or even an 8-year-old that has a history recorded by the government, a history of antidepressant, will not be able to pass a background check to buy a gun when they're a senior.
Well, I tend to agree that very well could be the case. The movement has been, people have been headed that direction already in the government, and I wouldn't doubt if that would continue.
That seems like a pretty good reason to be concerned, and then just the obvious reason of putting someone on drugs that may not be necessary for them to take. That can be a problem. I mean, we've known people. One of our co-hosts in the past was on antidepressants, and he told me that it made it so that he was breaking out, had severe acne on his back because of these antidepressants. It also killed his sex drive as well. So, I mean, if that's not a depressing thing, I don't know what is. All of a sudden, you now have pimples all over your body and you have no sex drive. I mean, that's probably going to drive someone to even further depression, it would seem to me. So I've got some real concerns with what these drugs are doing to people, both mentally and physically. But I also would say that, to any parent, I think we are having some difficulty with our internet connection. Let me switch him back here. Richard, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Yes, we got you now.
I was saying that I don't think that they really care what anybody thinks. I think this is a situation where, well, is there any way to trace back the origin of somebody that invented this law? How do you find out who does that?
It's probably not a law. It's probably
I've tried doing Google searches, and I can't find anything on any law about forcing children on antidepressants.
No. This is probably not a law. This is probably the time-honored tradition at this point of school bureaucrats sitting down with parents and saying, we think your son needs to be on these drugs. In fact, here are the experts. We've got this scientist here, this doctor, has said that he thinks your son needs to be drugged up. And then parents, like you're saying, Mark, they're responding to the authority, these people in suits and ties and lab coats or whatever, believing that they're right about this and just saying, okay, well, if that's what we have to do to get Johnny educated, then we'll put him on there. And I think more and more parents are probably waking up to this and becoming more concerned with it. And thanks, Richard, for calling tonight about it. I do appreciate it, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who do as well. Our toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have Skype. Skype username is lrn.fm. Right now our internet connection has gone off, so hopefully we'll be able to take your Skype calls. Go ahead and give it a try. Toll-free number again, 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Mike calling from Oregon. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Mike.
Hey, guys. The other night, you and I believe it was Rich...
Implementation of a power-sharing deal negotiated by the international community. Israel exported rights. Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports an extremely popular porn website has banned all North Carolina customers in protest of the state's controversial transgender restroom bill known as House Bill 2. The site xhamster.com announced Monday it would black out any customer with a North Carolina IP address. Customers in the state who try to enter the site are greeted by a message that says, "Stop your homophobic insanity." Xhamster.com spokesman Mike Kulik said in a statement, "We are appalled by the recent events that have transpired in North Carolina. As of today, access to Xhamster is blacked out in the state of North Carolina until further notice. We will not stand by and pump revenue into a system that promotes this type of garbage. We respect all sexualities and embrace them." Web traffic analytic Alexa ranks the site in the top 100 in the world for traffic. Xhamster's move to deny content is a new approach to boycotts that have proven to be effective in reaction to certain legislation over the years. After House Bill 2, PayPal said it was scrapping its plans to open a global operations center in the state, and Bruce Springsteen canceled a concert. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports Texas taxpayers picked up most of the $200,000 bill for the so-called affluenza teen's court-ordered rehabilitation and a probation deal that kept him out of prison for killing 4 people while driving intoxicated. Ethan Couch, who turns 19 years old this week and was 16 at the time of the incident, will be in a Tarrant County adult court on Wednesday for a likely determination of how much time behind bars he must spend for violating the probation deal. The Fort Worth Star-Telegram, citing court documents, said taxpayers paid more than $150,000 of the bill for his year-long rehabilitation because his parents were supposedly unable to pay for all of the treatment. At Couch's trial in juvenile court in 2013, a psychologist testified for the defense that Couch was so spoiled by his wealthy parents he could not tell right from wrong. The psychologist described the affliction as affluenza, a term that quickly became a media buzzword. Couch was sentenced to 10 years probation, during which he was to refrain from alcohol and be drug-free. The sentence sparked outrage from critics who ridiculed the affluenza defense and said his family's wealth helped the teen stay out of jail. Couch and his mother, Tanya, fled Texas in December, apparently to avoid arrest for violating the drink and drug-free probation deal. Ethan Couch has been in custody since he was brought back from Mexico in January. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
An alarming UN report on magical realism released this week warns of increased incidences of women's tears flooding the entire world. A UN committee linked the catastrophic phenomena to matronly widows, commonly named Tita and Esmeralda, who wept for up to 90 days on end about their estranged lovers.
Just consider how detrimental it is to a nation's workforces to have thousands of its plantation overseers simply disappear one night into the midsummer fog, only to return decades later without having aged a single day. Put simply, if such phenomena are not immediately halted, the effects on the international community will be catastrophic.
The nation's limo drivers spent a magical prom night playing scratch-off tickets in the parking lot this week. According to sources, chauffeurs nationwide began their enchanting evening by cramming swank magazines into their glove compartments before dropping off their students at a school gym, working through a stunning assortment of lotto cards, and dining upon a wide range of microwave-heated taquitos from a nearby 7-Eleven.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. You can join us here toll free. 855-450-FREE is our number. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. The Skype username is lrn.fm. Joining you in studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
And Daryl.
As we go to the phones, to the phone, we'll talk more about Robinhood. A different Robin Hood.
Red light Robin Hood.
Yeah, not the Robin Hood that saves you from parking meter tickets, but the Robin Hood in New York, in Long Island, who's been saving people from red light camera tickets. He's in jail for, at least he was arrested. I don't know if he bailed out, but he was booked and mugshot taken.
He was talking to CBS 2 News on Monday. So
From inside a jail? Or outside?
Standing in a parking lot.
Okay. Yeah, probably outside then. So let's continue here, though, with your calls and thoughts. First up, Trey is on the amp lines. Trey, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Mark, and Daryl.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir, Trey. Go ahead.
I was wanting to ask y'all, there's a former MMA fighter. His name is Jeff Monson, M-O-N-S-O-N, that basically said libertarianism, communists, and anarchists walk hand in hand with each other. I don't see how that's possible.
Libertarians, communists, and anarchists?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I suppose that what he could be trying to say is something to the effect of, these three philosophies are politically irrelevant in America and around the world. So we have, similar shared interests in the sense of, making the political process more fair for our ideas.
Well, several of the early quote-unquote modern anarchists, such as Emma Goldman, definitely had communist roots.
Oh, sure.
So, there is the appearance to some that, communism and anarchism go hand in hand because some of the anarchist philosophers were previously communist, and because a lot of libertarians want little or no government, they wind up, you want very little government, so therefore anarchist. Early anarchists were communists, so therefore you're a communist. So it takes a little bit of mental gymnastics and not a lot of knowledge to wind up thinking that, but I could see how I'm using the term the dictionary way here, an ignorant person would come to that conclusion. And ignorant just meaning someone that's not informed of information.
Yes, sir. That does make sense because I always thought communism, you're under the strict fist of the government,
Well,
and where libertarianism, you want to live by, you don't want nobody to bother you. Let you live the way you want to live and let others live the way they want to live.
So there's a couple of definitions of communism and a couple of definitions of socialism here that we probably should parse out. There's one definition of communism, which is essentially, the hammer and the sickle, the Communist Party of Russia, the Communist Party of China. It seems very dictatorial and that kind of thing. Communism as a philosophy means that there is no government. All communism is anarcho-communism because there is no central government. We are all the government. We make our decisions, universally.
Democratically, if you will.
Democratic votes on everything, including the paint color of your house. There's essentially everything. Everyone's living communally. You wouldn't have a house because you're living communally.
No, you can still have a house.
I've seen communes with homes.
Communally, though. You wouldn't own your house.
That's correct.
Even if you had a separate domicile that wasn't in some kind of big block a la Judge Dredd.
You wouldn't have to worry about somebody, taking your underpants because you would get to have your underpants. You wouldn't have to worry about somebody sleeping in your bed because you would have a bed.
Well, hold on. Wait a second. Of the people who are here who have lived in essentially a dictatorship, I am the only one. We had underwear in prison, but it wasn't our underwear. Okay?
Yeah,
At any time they could take it away from you. It wasn't yours.
It's fine with me.
Well, you don't wear underpants anyway,
yeah.
but which is dirty, kids. It's dirty.
Why is that dirty?
Anyway, you don't own it just because you have it. You have things in a communist world. You don't own them. And communism is essentially fairyland. It has never existed and never will.
At a state level, sure, but there have been communes that have lasted for a while.
There have been communes that have lasted for a while. Of course, they haven't. They've had difficulties as far as governments go, and oftentimes
some have had difficulties. Some have done pretty
of
well.
Bed bugs, a whole variety of things that plague.
I wouldn't want to live there, but there are apparently some communes that have continued on through the decades.
Yep.
Right, but those are not the communalist type commune to where everything is jointly owned and there's no motivation to wind up doing.
That's what a commune is. Where everything is jointly owned. No one owns anything necessarily, and they, from each according to his ability to each according to his need. Communism is where, as we typically discuss it, is usually the state version of communism. But if people want to organize communally on their own on a voluntary initiative, that's fine by me.
Right, and that was tried in both Jamestown and Plymouth.
And it didn't work well.
And didn't work for more than a couple of years.
But I've got an example where it worked. It worked for the Shakers. So this is a religious group that was
those people are crazy.
They're dead too.
They're all gone.
There's still a couple of them that are alive.
Mark says they're all gone.
There's arguable ones in cases in May, but anyway, the Shakers still own some property. But anyway, there's the last of the Shakers are nearly gone. They were killed off by the Industrial Revolution.
They were killed off by the fact that they don't reproduce.
No, that wasn't the reason at all.
But isn't that true? They don't have sex.
Well, what they were prior to the progressive era was the state would turn over all the orphans to the Shakers, and they raised them, and so they were essentially
they get new recruits.
A communal orphanage.
Okay.
But that was back when it was really difficult for the average person to make a living. Like that, you were an indentured servant or whatever. Along comes the Industrial Revolution. People suddenly, the men who are there as Shakers, they can go out. You know what? I could have a wife and a house and some kids. I think I'll do that. And they leave. And that's what they were doing all the time. And a lot of times, Shakers also had problems with what they called fair weather Shakers or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the term was. But
are those the ones that wanted to have sex?
Winter Shakers, they would, a husband, a family would show up and say, we want to be Shakers.
So they could eat?
In December.
Yeah.
And then they'd stay there until April. And then they'd leave, and they'd come back in December and stay till April.
There are people like that in jail. Well, when I was a corrections officer, there was a guy
homeless guy get picked up.
Homeless guy. He would get picked up on some petty offense that he knew would get him between 3 to 6 months. And
get 3 squares a day, right?
He'd have a place to stay during the wintertime, and then once it got started getting warmer, his sentence was up, and he'd go be homeless in middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, and then wintertime come around.
Not a bad plan.
Still a car.
You got nothing to live for. Anything else, Trey? You want to share? Go ahead.
Well, I just and I was wanting to talk about that wall that Donald Trump wants to build.
Oh, the one that he wants to force Mexico to pay to build by cutting off remittances to the country, meaning not allowing Western Union's MoneyGrams to leave the United States and go to Mexico until Mexico ponies up $5 to $10 billion.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, right. Bitcoin, obvious way to get around that one.
Once again, I support the Donald Trump campaign because if that's the case, then that'll drive Bitcoin to the moon.
Well,
not necessarily.
I mean, anyway, go ahead, Trey, with your thoughts.
Yes, sir. That wall scares me because I remember growing up in the 70s and 80s. I'm 48 years old. And I remember the wall in East Germany, across Germany, East and West Germany. And they used to send the pictures they used to show on the news. That East Germany was really a scary-looking place. And didn't Ronald Reagan say, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall?
Yeah. Yes.
So why are we wanting to put up one, to keep us in or keep them out? What's the truth?
Well, the East Germans actually claimed that the wall was to keep out everybody else. They called it the anti-fascist protection rampart. It was built to keep the Americans out.
Trey, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. I got some serious concerns with this wall idea. Certainly, the theory that Bitcoin might go up is not going to get me to support a border wall. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us here on Free Talk Live.
Have you ever thought you'd like to flip houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? Are you ready to be your own boss so you can start living the good life? Hi, I'm Preston Ely. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity turned off 9 times, but I figured out a way to quit my job and find financial freedom in real estate. For a limited time, I want to send you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It shows you how to copy exactly what I did so you can make money from the comfort of your own home without even doing any manual labor. I've already given away 5,000 books and they're going fast. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-960-3494. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. It's short, fun to read, easy to understand, and awesome. To find out how to get your free book while supplies last, call 1-800-960-3494. Call 1-800-960-3494. 1-800-960-3494.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those 2 tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is down $5 at $1,249 per ounce. Silver is 6 cents higher at $16.31 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $423 US. Robertson Roberts has been a trusted source for physical precious metals for nearly 40 years. Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us on the radio. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. The red light Robin Hood, clogging the courts, communism. We've talked about those things so far here tonight. Plenty of time still for you. Joining us in studio, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Daryl.
Rather, joining you. We go to Ralph in New Jersey. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Ralph.
Yeah, it's about time we need to spice up this conversation because
spice it up for me. Go ahead. I'm ready. I like spicy.
I'm about to bring up the issue of race. Okay.
No,
Ralph,
that never happens
in New Jersey.
Considering that Obama and Hillary are driven not only to obsession but fixation about this issue. Here's Hillary once again bringing up the issue of this is like a red myth when he goes before the black crowd. A red myth.
Red meth?
Here. A red herring issue.
Red herring. Okay.
For these people to bring it up when they're talking before a black crowd, and that's what Hillary is doing today. Now, we know for a fact that El Negro animal race relation under him is at its worst. I have a question to ask. When a Black Lives Matter, do you think they are helping or hurting race relation in this country? What do you think?
If you want me to go out on a limb, I'm going to say... If you want me to go out on a limb on this, I would say that it's like this whole we need to have a national conversation about race has just polarized people. That race relations, I think, in this country were better some years ago than they are today. I think they've gotten worse, and I think that people are hypersensitive to whatever privilege is and all this other stuff. That's my personal opinion on the subject, but I don't know what I can do about it.
Let me, with regard to the Black Lives Matter, the same thing I told a guy in Philly named Dom Giordano on WPHT 1210 on your AM dial. That's the big talker up there. Okay, I'll say it to you. Okay, why are we even taking this group, which is at best marginal Black Lives Matter, seriously? Why are we even taking them seriously? When
who's
the
we?
The silent majority of this country support the police. Okay, and at best,
I don't know. How do you tell that?
I think the silent majority of people in this country are scared to death when they see a police officer. Well, not scared to death, but they're frightened when they see a police officer in the rear view
Who feels good about that? Who doesn't have their pulse raised, the adrenaline pump?
I would say the people that support the police are rather vocal.
What would it be like if, when we have a day without blacks or a day without police in this country?
That's ridiculous. And that's not. Thank you for the call, Ralph. But look, Ralph is a racist. Let's make it crystal clear here. I mean, look, I don't want anybody to go away from the United States a day without blacks. What a ridiculous statement. Is he going to advocate for genocide now?
All I'm going to say is that your race is just an amount of melanin in your skin.
Yeah.
And
you're part black, aren't you?
Me? I guess, I got some Ethiopian in me. So, yes.
Aren't we all technically?
I don't know. I haven't done
You're certainly African. in origin, but you're not necessarily black in origin. Race is this social construct, as it's called.
Yes.
And the reason they call it a social construct is because you can be whatever you want. And the very best example is the Dave Chappelle show. I think everybody's seen this thing, and he plays a black racist who was
the Black Klansman.
That guy? Yes, the Black Klansman.
Clayton Bigsby, the black white supremacist.
He's blind, raised in an orphanage in Alabama or wherever Daryl's from, and he doesn't know that he's black.
Right.
So he takes on all of the racist attributes of everybody who's he's an orphan, so everybody in the sort of the orphanage or whatever, he has this sort of racist attitude, and in that guy's world, he's white, and that's what they mean by social construct.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
Particularly matter how much melanin you have in your skin or whatever. And oftentimes, having lived in prison where it was 12 black guys to one white guy, as far as numbers went, I have an insight that maybe other people didn't have, and oftentimes it would be about where you're from, for the where are you from, or how do you talk, and so there's subgroups in there. It's all ridiculous just to take this label and say, well, as a white guy, I'm speaking for white guys here. This is how we feel. It's ridiculous, and so
you can't even speak for the three of us in this room,
right? I mean, you
can barely speak for yourself. You've got to get your wife's permission.
What? That's excellent. What would it be like in America, a day without white people? I have no clue what a day without white people would be like in America. I don't know, but I can tell you that I'm sort of sick of being
which white people. The Italians, the British, the Irish.
But you're none of those. You're a mix of all those too. That's the thing. Is just all this sort of mishmash of everything. I'm just tired of being it being my fault, because that's kind of what this white privilege conversation seems to be about. I concur. White privilege exists. However, it is neither an excuse nor a reason for much of anything. You can live your whole life saying, well, I can't succeed because of that thing. And everybody's got something they can't succeed because of.
Sure, you can always have an excuse for doing nothing or failing.
I've got big ears. Daryl was fat at one point. Ian's ugly. I mean, whatever it is, you can find something to fail over.
Yeah, that's true. It really, how you talk about yourself, I think, is a big impact on who you become. I mean, if you talk about why you're always failing and how you are a failure, then you shouldn't be surprised when you continue to fail. But if you talk about yourself as though you are successful and that you're a good person or whatever, I think that sort of self-speak, I don't know what the term is for that. But
internal dialogue?
Yeah, internal dialogue can really help or hurt you. And so you're in control to some extent of how you feel. Libertarian idea
because Milton Friedman
to put every single, this guy obviously was not a libertarian on this issue, to put every single person within a landmass on a welfare check every month. Sure. How's that libertarian?
Absolutely. And you're asking me to defend something.
You're the one who made the statement.
I am not proposing.
You just made the statement. This was pretty libertarian. You want to take that back because you should.
No, I'm not going to. I believe that
He's going to double down.
I believe libertarianism is a spectrum. You believe it is a point at the end of a line. Okay?
No, libertarian has a specific definition. You're the one who doesn't agree with that.
More liberty.
Daryl and I agree with what libertarian means. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Daryl, but I think that you're a principled guy when it comes to libertarianism. You agree that libertarianism means to not use the initiation of force to achieve political or social goals.
Correct.
Right? And so this is tax money. So therefore, force was initiated to achieve this, or they printed it out, which is still using fraud on people in order to get the money to give to these people. So how is this libertarian? Go ahead.
Sure. So this is about efficiency in the program and minimizing the amount
efficiency.
Yeah, sure. So
paying more in welfare is going to be more efficient for you? Because
is this how you run your radio show? You just badger the hell out of people?
Yeah, I'm going to badger you because you claim this is libertarian, and it's not.
No, I did not claim it was libertarian. I claimed it was more libertarian in compared to other welfare programs.
So meaning not at all, because welfare programs are not at all libertarian.
So if I chop off your big toe, that's better than if I chop off your entire leg. So therefore, you would advocate chopping off big toes?
No, I'm not. At what point did you hear me advocate for this? I do not advocate for it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it is more libertarian than what exists
No,
today.
sir, it is not. But
All
go
right,
ahead.
That's fine. You can just go ahead and define it how you wish.
I'll define it how it's actually defined.
Okay.
You are the one who's defining it how you wish.
You popped in your own definition of libertarianism?
Nope. No,
you
I didn't
go to the dictionary for it?
No, I didn't. I signed a statement when I joined the Libertarian Party.
And what makes the Libertarian Party the arbiters of what libertarianism is?
It's right there in their name.
Well, there you go. That's it's arbitrary and capricious.
So you're going to make you're going to try to explain to me how this is more libertarian to spend more money on welfare because this is going to cost more money than the current system.
That is not an accurate statement.
And since Mark wants the dictionary definition of the word libertarian,
great, that's a great idea.
From Merriam-Webster, an advocate of the doctrine of free will, a person who upholds the principles of individual liberty, especially of thought and action.
Liberty?
A member of a political party advocating libertarian principles.
Okay, so free will, liberty. If you don't have to fill out a bunch of government paperwork in order to receive whatever money you need to survive, that's going to increase your liberty and your free will. If we don't have to fund specific things like government schools and stuff like that, that's going to benefit everybody.
Government schools being eliminated is not part of this universal basic income.
Free Talk Live, more coming up.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more.
It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live is having a huge sale on ads. If you have a local business, contact this station. They'll help you out. But if you do business nationally through a website, a brand, or a call center, Free Talk Live ads are 66% off until April 16th. I can't give you the rates here, but I can tell you the packages are as low as $500. We're on 170-plus stations. We do endorsements. We have a big old online audience. Contact Mark at freetalklive.com. We've never had a sale this big. Mark at freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, April 13th, 2016. Silver is trading at $16.14 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,246 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $427. Antiwar.com reports Israel's Supreme Court has shot down a Freedom of Information request by attorneys related to the nation's export of arms to Rwanda during the 1990 to 1995 period, accepting the Defense Ministry's argument that national security depended on keeping the matter secret. The attorneys seeking the information noted that the sales, in at least part of this period, would have violated international law and a UN Security Council weapons embargo imposed in the midst of the genocide in Rwanda. During the spring of 1994, between 500,000 to 1 million Tutsi civilians in Rwanda were massacred by the government and its supporters, nominally to prevent the implementation of a power-sharing deal negotiated by the international community. Israel exported rifles and ammunition to Rwanda, which was used by the regime in its genocide, but the extent of it has remained uncertain, and no one involved has ever been held to account. The court's ruling will likely keep it that way. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports an extremely popular porn website has banned all North Carolina customers in protest of the state's controversial transgender restroom bill known as House Bill 2. The site xhamster.com announced Monday it would black out any customer with a North Carolina IP address. Customers in the state who try to enter the site are greeted by a message that says, "Stop your homophobic insanity." Xhamster.com spokesman Mike Kulik said in a statement, "We are appalled by the recent events that have transpired in North Carolina. As of today, access to xHamster is blacked out in the state of North Carolina until further notice. We will not stand by and pump revenue into a system that promotes this type of garbage. We respect all sexualities and embrace them." Web traffic analytic Alexa ranks the site in the top 100 in the world for traffic. xHamster's move to deny content is a new approach to boycotts that have proven to be effective in reaction to certain legislation over the years. After House Bill 2, PayPal said it was scrapping its plans to open a global operations center in the state, and Bruce Springsteen canceled a concert. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports Texas taxpayers picked up most of the $200,000 bill for the so-called affluenza teen's court-ordered rehabilitation and a probation deal that kept him out of prison for killing 4 people while driving intoxicated. Ethan Couch, who turns 19 years old this week and was 16 at the time of the incident, will be in a Tarrant County adult court on Wednesday for a likely determination of how much time behind bars he must spend for violating the probation deal. The Fort Worth Star-Telegram, citing court documents, said taxpayers paid more than $150,000 of the bill for his year-long rehabilitation because his parents were supposedly unable to pay for all of the treatment. At Couch's trial in juvenile court in 2013, a psychologist testified for the defense that Couch was so spoiled by his wealthy parents he could not tell right from wrong. The psychologist described the affliction as affluenza, a term that quickly became a media buzzword. Couch was sentenced to 10 years probation, during which he was to refrain from alcohol and be drug-free. The sentence sparked outrage from critics who ridiculed the affluenza defense and said his family's wealth helped the teen stay out of jail. Couch and his mother, Tanya, fled Texas in December, apparently to avoid arrest for violating the drink and drug-free probation deal. Ethan Couch has been in custody since he was brought back from Mexico in January. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After logging onto the Xbox One game console at one of his classmates' homes, 12-year-old Michael Cutler admitted to reporters this week that he really does not have the slightest clue about what his friend's name could be.
I mean, his name might be Brian. No, wait, Brian's my other friend, the one with the PS4. Yeah, if I'm being totally honest, there's no way I can tell you his name. Not a chance.
Noting that the boy had, quote, an absolutely huge HD TV and a bunch of games his mom won't let him play, Cutler confirmed that he could recall only the faintest details about his friend, including the fact that his mother makes chocolate chip cookies and that he has a dog of some kind.
He's got Killer Instinct, Assassin's Creed, Battlefield 4, and Titanfall? Man, that game's awesome. Anyway, I've just been calling him Flamethrower because that's his gamer tag. Hopefully he doesn't catch on. Hey, can I stick around for a few more hours? I'm so close to beating this.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. You can join us there. Skype username is LRN.FM. Universal Basic Income. For those of you just tuning in, that's what Mark is proceeding to begin to tell us about in Finland, where this is going to... Is this going to completely replace welfare, Mark? What is the proposal? Oh, sorry about that. Let's try this one more time.
That's the notion proposed by this article, and what I find most intriguing...
Oh, so wait, this is just a proposal in a news magazine, not or in an opinion journal, not an actual...
No, so I've actually done some research during the break, and apparently they're going to be carrying out this experiment in Finland over the next 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so the idea is they're transitioning, and we don't know what that transition is going to look like. But that transition could be good or could be bad, and I think that what was really great about this particular article and about the notion of universal basic income is it's a wonderful foil to discuss every social welfare program out there. And there are so many things that we don't even consider as social welfare programs that are. And I think that the biggest one is probably the government school system. If you were going to create a government school system today, you would not do it the way that it is. It is awful. It's a terrible system that basically institutionalizes kids, incentivizes terrible behavior and ignorance. It's a government bureaucrat make-work program. It is awful from top to bottom. There's almost nothing you can say good about the United States public school system. And it's defended roundly by people. If you can discuss the universal basic income or credits, voucher systems or things like that, you can kind of begin to draw in somebody who would dismiss the notion of freedom around these areas. You can begin to draw them into a conversation about efficiency. And the free market is almost always the most efficient way to handle any particular activity.
Is the proposal here to give... So you said...
I'll finish reading it for you if you'd like.
Yes, but so far, I want to recap for people just tuning in. You've said that the proposal is that it'll be $900 per month for every single individual. Is it adults or do kids get this too?
I think it's individual. Each citizen is the terminology.
Every citizen receives $900 per month from the government. Now, is the proposal that also the government will stop handling schools and then each individual will have to then decide where to send their kids?
I'm looking at a PowerPoint presentation from the Finnish government. And what they're proposing is an experiment to begin in 2017 and last 2 years. In 2019, results will then be evaluated. They are going to, for the experiment, have volunteers, and it's going to be 2-stage sampling among volunteers, a treatment group, and a control group. And they don't really explain how they determined that. But then the next slide says experimental settings, an example of an optimal research setting, nothing selected yet. To get scientifically reliable results and evidence for policy making, the experiment must include a sufficient number of households rather than individuals, be nationally representative, a nation-level randomization, approximately 10,000 cases, include county-level experiments, random sampling of approximately 10% of a county, local experiments in order to capture institutional and interaction effects and various externalities.
So the experiment will give a portion, 10% of the people, the basic income. Is that the proposal?
The proposal is they need to have about 10,000 people nationwide and approximately 10% of a single county. So they want to make sure that in at least one county, they've got 10% of the people.
Okay.
They want municipalities with 10 and 30% random samplings and at least 2 municipalities with 100% samples.
some people can be pretty jealous of their neighbors over this, getting $900 a month. Mark, there's more to this proposal from the magazine City Journal.
And just one more thing. They do mention in the slideshow several variants of the universal basic income. And sometime later this year, they are going to decide which model or models will actually wind up being experimented with during the 2-year test.
Okay.
So to me, the devil is definitely in the details on the universal basic income, and I wouldn't back or propose it simply because of what I believe it does to the human species. I think that...
By that you mean getting people on welfare, taking away their incentives?
Well, this isn't welfare. This is for everybody, but yes,
it's
basically
welfare.
that.
If you give welfare to everyone, it's still welfare.
Okay. They put up signs at public parks or at national parks not to feed the bears because the bears become dependent on the food, and then they are no longer able to fend for themselves in the wild. It also can affect the numbers of the bears, nutrition, and a variety of other things like that. Everything that I just said about feeding the bears can be said about giving people free money.
And there's also the fact that this is basically going to have to print this, right? I mean, they're going to be printing some of this money, I suspect.
No.
No, this is going to come from taxes?
This is a euro.
Really?
Yeah. So Finland doesn't print money.
Interesting.
Not entirely accurate.
Okay, help me out on that.
Members of the Eurozone still have central banks that are authorized to print money, but they have to do it in conjunction with Eurozone rules.
Okay.
So, the Federal Reserve, there's
Greece
12 Federal Reserve banks in the United States. So the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta can't just decide, we want to print this much money. Well, they can only print as much as what the central, the main Federal Reserve says, Atlanta, this is how much you can print.
But the difference is the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta isn't incentivized in any way, shape, or form to fund the Atlantan government.
Correct.
Whereas the federal, the European version of the Federal Reserve Bank that is in Finland is highly motivated to solve Finland's financial problems. Let's think about Greece for a moment here. If Greece could just print the money to pay back the European Union or the lenders of the European Union or whatever, there wouldn't have been a Grecian crisis in the first place.
So this money is going to come from tax dollars then. This is going to come from, the wealthy.
It doesn't
more
really
so than
say.
it does currently.
Well, it's either going to come from printing or it's going to come from tax dollars, right?
It doesn't come from fairies, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So going on.
It comes from Bernie Sanders.
In return for the UBI, that's the Universal Basic Income, however, the public accepts the elimination of most welfare services. Currently, the Finnish government offers a variety of income-based assistance programs for everything from housing to children's education to property insulation. Axing these programs should free up enough public resources to finance the UBI. So this is a reallocation of funds.
Restructuring the welfare program.
Right. This is a restructuring as opposed to an increase is the idea. Now, I don't know. I can tell you that I did the math on every American getting something like $2,000 a month, and it came up to like $7 trillion. Maybe I punched the numbers in wrong, but I did it more than one time.
Okay.
I'll go on. The bureaucracy that currently governs welfare payments will disappear. There will no longer be any need to ask the government for help, or any ability, let's say, because there certainly will be a need. You give everybody $900, and you can believe there's plenty of people that will be broke by the third of the month.
They're still going to blow it on drugs and alcohol or whatever.
Nor to
gambling.
fit out. But what you're making an excuse, to many people's minds, what you're saying right now, the words that just came out of your mouth, is reasoning for the social welfare programs that we have today. We need to check. We need to make sure that they're not doing drugs. We need to make sure that what their home life is like. We need to check. We need to send bureaucrats. An army of bureaucrats failing at every turn is what the solution that most people have for the problems that you're proposing.
All right. So if they're talking about getting rid of all of the government welfare programs and the bureaucrats behind it, then I can see what your argument was, that this would be more freedom-oriented. I wouldn't use the term libertarian because it's still funded by force. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely free, with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now, 1-800-718-3929. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now, 1-800-718-3929. That's 1-800-718-3929. 1-800-718-3929.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. With you tonight, Ian.
And Mark.
And Daryl.
Don't forget to check out Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. You go to victimlesscrimespree.com. You can watch a 90-minute documentary film about our friend Derek J. Freeman, who was arrested 5 times in a 1-year time frame. We caught it all on video, and he never hurt anybody. It's a pretty entertaining movie, and it's free to watch. Go check it out at victimlesscrimespree.com. We go to the phones, to the fun. We're talking about so-called universal basic income. If this happens, as they're proposing in Finland, they're going to go into an experimental phase, apparently, with this. But if it does happen, they say it would result in most, not all, but almost much of the social welfare bureaucracy, the infrastructure, the various different programs being eliminated.
Yeah.
And Mark keeps saying that they're going to eliminate government schools, but I'm not seeing that in any of the stuff that I've read, even the slideshow from the Finnish government.
Well, so that's one of the things that's a concern here, right, is there's an article Mark's reading from a policy magazine directed at governments, not necessarily a government publication, and you're looking at actual slideshows created by the Finnish government.
Yes.
So it wouldn't surprise me if the reality was they create the universal basic income and they leave intact all of the welfare programs. Because, you can't fire bureaucrats. Governments can't do that.
The slideshow is saying that, and let me pull up the wording here exactly, because they do mention about streamlining bureaucracy, abolish work disincentives and diminish bureaucracy.
Diminish it, okay.
But again, it doesn't say that they're going to eliminate any government service.
Well, that's the idea here. I don't know what to say regarding that, but I can't.
Well, the idea behind the income tax was it was only supposed to be on the the top 1% or whatever originally, and then it became that the idea was something different, which is where everyone's subjected to it for the most part. So ideas can change over time, and I suspect that once you start to threaten the government bureaucrats with being streamlined or eliminated, the government bureaucrats will then sue because their unions will say, whoa, you can't terminate us. Okay, fine. If you want to have a universal basic income, then you can do that, but you got to keep all our jobs too.
Right, so they might wind up going, they've got 3 proposals. There's the full basic...
Hold the 3 proposals, if you don't mind. I want to get Socrates on the line here, calling from Nashua, New Hampshire, on Skype. Go ahead, Socrates.
Thanks, guys. You guys were talking about definitions, and unfortunately for libertarian definitions, like most definitions, they have no meaning without context, right? Context gives the meaning to the words today. So that's why liberal has no connection to a classical liberal of the past. But specifically, you can get a universal context by understanding that words like libertarian have universal principles, right, that are understood. One of them, one of the centerpieces being the non-aggression principle. All right? And they follow so far?
Yep, sure.
Okay. Well, Mark, I love how you always take this devil's advocate position, but for the non-aggression principle, I would you kind of gave this good argument that if you domesticate bears, right, you're going to domesticate people. Now, I argue that if you use unnecessary force against animals, right, that would be no threat to you, but other than you do it for, just say you raise pigs and slaughter them yourself, unless you're specifically doing it because you're trying to sustain yourself or you're trying to feed others, right? I would argue that could perhaps be a violation of the non-aggression principle. Does this argument ring a bell?
Ah, yes, we're talking about animals.
Right. So I would
pigs.
maintain the principle, right? That it's saying, does the non-aggression principle extend to animals?
I'd say no, it doesn't. One of the things about that you need to consider is that if you're going to give animals all of the benefits of sort of anthropomorphization, right? You're going to say you are essentially a human to me. Then you need to hold them responsible for all those things too. And the fact is that animals, especially of the I think it's the K variety is what pigs are. Pigs, rabbits, rats, these animals that have large litters, they're destructive. They just devour everything in their area. So what you're proposing in saying that animals have the same rights as humans is essentially destruction of life on this planet as we know it.
Well, let me be clear. I maintain that if people have pets by choice, right? You have dogs, you have cats, right? I'm kind of on the notion that an animal that you physically, domesticate to the point where they are restricted to their physical area, right? Say, like most cats are quote-unquote indoor cats,
sure,
right? Or the claws are removed, things like this, right? You now have a moral responsibility to that animal's life, right? So by the same effect, right? You are by choice breeding pigs.
Yep.
Now, if you're saying that these pigs, obviously, would they be destructive, or would they just be a nice target for a fox or a wolf to get a nice snack? Right,
well,
so
there ain't no fox. These domestic pigs get to be sometimes as large as 900 pounds. There's nothing besides a human being that's going to bring down a full-sized boar. And they're going to have to use a gun to do it. That it is the rare human that can jump on the back of a pig with a knife in their teeth and manage to bring that pig home for dinner. So if you
and Mark Edge is that rare human.
No, I am not. But I will point you to southern states across the United States, the island of Hawaii, where pigs have gotten loose. And these places, in many cases, have no season. It is open season on killing pigs because they're just destructive as they could possibly be. And farmers, you can go on YouTube and watch videos of people using dynamite to blow up herds of pigs that they've trapped and baited.
No, I'm familiar. I've lived in Hawaii for a few years before moving to New Hampshire, and the argument is right. Like if you have a cat, right?
Yeah,
generally.
Sure.
Right, you could say cats are destructive when they're strays. They become a nuisance, right? Does that justify going out and shooting stray cats because they're destructive on the environment?
Not under the non-aggression principle. So if a person is out in the street is annoying me, I can't go out and shoot them. However, what I'm telling you is that you would not be able to grow crops to feed a vegetarian lifestyle, a vegan lifestyle, if you didn't do something about animals, specifically K versions, which I'm talking about pigs. One of the reasons I think pigs are so great is because they're just such prolific breeders. Pork is a lot less costly than beef.
It's true. But you could also say that there's retaining value in having a cow versus having a pig, because a cow, you could have a long-term source of dairy.
Yep.
Right. So
well,
there's a long-term sustainable.
Before you go on, interesting side note: a sow produces more milk in many cases than a cow does. Now, obviously, not the cows that are bred for domestic milk production, but when you're talking about heritage breeds of cows, a full-grown sow can produce more milk. It's just that she has greedy little piglets sucking it up. So, in a world in absence of cows, they might have a sow milking machine.
All right, I do have one challenge for Ian at the end.
Stand by, Socrates. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. You can bring up anything that's on your mind. We'll continue with the universal basic income as well. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying notifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. offnow.org.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is down $5 at $1,249 per ounce. Silver is 6 cents higher at $16.31 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $423 US. Robertson Roberts has been a trusted source for physical precious metals for nearly 40 years. Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
You can join us here on Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it's a universal basic income or animal rights, we'll talk about anything here on Free Talk Live. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
And Daryl.
And Daryl W. Perry, who is running for president in a historic campaign, having announced his running mate as Will Coley, the very first ever Muslim candidate for vice president in all of American political history. An incredible announcement made about a week or so ago. Actually, just a week ago.
1 week ago, yes.
1 week ago, already garnering more press coverage. As a result, the Muslim community is apparently abuzz with the news. I'm very excited about it.
I've heard people on Facebook critiquing this as a publicity stunt.
Great. Let's have great publicity stunts for Daryl. I support that.
I on one hand, I understand what they're saying. Clearly, like
we libertarians do not think we need any publicity whatsoever for our ideas because they're so good. People will find out about them without any publicizing.
Every press release from any candidate is supposed to be basically a publicity stunt.
So on one hand,
these are people who know nothing about promoting themselves.
No, these people are a-holes who are closet bigots that don't want to come out and say, I hate Muslims. That's in a lot of cases what you're dealing with here. So on one hand, Will Coley is an articulate individual who can express the ideas of liberty quite well.
Yes.
If he were a Christian or atheist or whatever, he would be a dime a dozen among the libertarian community, right? Like there's a lot of people who can articulate themselves well. But Will happens to be Muslim and qualified.
Yes.
So I think that from those two angles, on one hand, I see the point about publicity. On the other hand, you look like a bigot if you say it. And that's just the way that is.
Right, and also because it's Will Coley, had I not mentioned in the press release Will Coley's a Muslim, then everybody would be saying, why are you trying to hide the fact that he's a Muslim?
Right, it's just dumb.
Okay, so put it in the headline, and let's see how much press we get. Because I could have just as easily said, Daryl Perry names redneck running mate. Would have been as equally a factual statement, but would not have garnered anywhere near as much publicity.
So, DarylWPerry.com is your campaign website. Where are you headed this weekend, Daryl?
This weekend, I am heading to Louisiana. Speaking of rednecks, actually, they're Cajuns down in Louisiana. Flying into New Orleans and driving to Baton Rouge.
And risking being swept into the Napoleonic justice system, right?
Yes, I will try to be a good boy.
It's a dangerous place to be for a freedom lover.
I have no outstanding warrants in Louisiana. It's South Carolina that I basically have a no trespass order into the entire state.
So wait, so when is the convention this weekend?
I'm leaving Friday. Convention is Saturday.
Okay. Is there a debate?
I believe so.
Okay.
There's like 5 conventions that are happening this weekend, and most of the candidates are going to Louisiana.
Okay, good.
So I believe there's going to either be a debate or some sort of forum sort of thing.
DarylWPerry.com. Check out his campaign site as he rolls toward the ultimate national convention in late May.
Memorial Day weekend.
Orlando. Let's go back to Socrates in New Hampshire. You had another point you wanted to make, so go ahead, or a question or whatever.
No, I just wanted to bring it back to the topic at hand, domesticating the population through this universal income, a monthly stipend for all the population.
A monthly welfare check for everyone in a country is the proposal.
Take this to a micro level, right? If you raise a baby, right, and you train this baby that they're going to always have an income check, right? They never have an incentive to work. They never have an incentive to go out and better themselves.
Some parents do this. They call it an allowance.
That's true.
But when I was younger, my allowance was in return for work, so I had to take the garbage out in order to get my allowance. So it wasn't, I guess, the same concept. Anyway, go ahead.
Right, but the idea is on a massive scale, right, or on a micro scale. If you domesticate the person where they have no incentive to work, they become the equivalent of what Mark just said, letting pigs loose on the society. They become destructive because the only thing they do is drain resources rather than produce. Right, because now they're going just to be demanding increases based on inflation, maybe those that have a hard time demand more. Right, it's going to lead towards violence in some form. So I bring this back to the non-aggression principle, right? If you actually raise a child to basically be domesticated and have no incentive to work, you're a bad parent. In the same respect, if you actually raise an animal to the point that you say, well, okay, I'm just going to domesticate these pigs, Mark, right? And the only service they provide, right, is food for you. And there comes to a point where there is no.
They also clear out land.
Humans. Say again.
Pigs also will clear off land.
So and so will domesticated humans, right? They'll just eat it, right? If you never learn, the person that gets fed a fish, right, never learns the fish.
Right.
The idea that the humans can become a drain is specifically based on how much they're being supplemented. If you domesticate the population, right, you become the same as an animal. Right, and that the point that I have to Ian, you took the moral responsibility to bring in a dog to your house, and at a certain point you said, well, this dog is becoming a drain on me. I better end his life.
No.
At what point does that not apply to humans when they go, well, these people are just becoming drains. Let's just end them. Let's just terminate their lives. Where's the divide?
Well, the difference, I guess, would be the idea that humans have rights by common agreement between human beings. This comes back to the discussion of animal rights versus human rights. The idea being that you can't have something else cannot have rights unless it can reciprocate the giving of those rights to those who are giving.
Well, what he's saying is that humans, domesticated humans that are entitled to some kind of ongoing payment, they have no rights because they can't reciprocate them. In many cases, people who are not, who are not producing.
Why couldn't those people reciprocate rights if you have the agreement?
Because they're living off of other people. They're just.
But under the universal
livestock
program thing, everyone is receiving a welfare check.
That's the end. That's the end result. That's saying on a micro scale. When it's applied on a massive scale, and then you have the problem of these pigs getting loose and becoming a massive drain on resources, on the economy.
Well, and we know that the government's going to exterminate whoever they darn well please, because the government doesn't actually believe in rights. They only pander to that idea when it's convenient to them. But obviously, I love my dog Jazzy, but if she gets to the point where her life is so difficult that it's making our lives more difficult, then yeah, I will have to make the decision to end her life. I don't look forward to that day, and I hope I don't have to. I hope she dies peacefully in her sleep one day, and I don't have to make that choice. But ultimately, I will have to do that, and that's because Jazzy can't reciprocate rights to me. She can't go enter into an agreement where she will agree to the same things I'm willing to agree for her. So that's the difference between animals and humans.
The reason that you'd be making that decision is because in her place, at a certain point, you would say, I'm too much of a burden on my family. Right. I need to go. And I think that many humans are that way. They're like I just, That's
why a lot of humans have living wills of, if I'm ever in a coma,
please pull the plug.
There's, zero chance or less than X% chance of me ever coming out of the coma, pull the plug.
Thanks, Socrates, for the call tonight. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
A point on the universal basic income where Socrates was saying that essentially everybody who would be getting this would be disincentivized from working. Well, not really. In a world where you're guaranteed $900, $1,000 a month,
some people are going to want more.
You're going to definitely want more. So this universal basic income wouldn't have sort of the caps that welfare does. Welfare says, oh, you can't earn this much, you can't have a car more than that, a whole variety
or you'll be
of
disqualified.
Things. A friend of mine was looking for assistance from the state, and she couldn't do it because her car was worth too much, and she would have to sell her car, get a different car. It made no sense.
And then it would, encourage some people to take that leap of faith to start a business of, well, now I'm guaranteed something to fall back on if the business fails.
Could be. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. We'll certainly keep our eyes on this, and I know, Daryl, you had a few points that you wanted to bring up. We'll get to those, hopefully. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live. Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
If you want to move to the Free State and you're looking for some real estate.
Oof, I think we've all had enough of that jingle, don't you? If you're going to invest in property in New Hampshire, it just makes sense to support a liberty-friendly realtor. Call Mark Warden of Team Porcupine Real Estate for investment property or rentals in the Free State. Or visit his website. Come on, you know it.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
And it's Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Enough time for you if you want to share your thoughts on whether it's the universal basic income concept or animal rights, red light tickets. We've been all on those issues tonight. You can also bring up anything that happens to be on your mind. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And also, don't forget, if you want to help support Free Talk Live, you can do your shopping with us. Just go to shop.freetalklive.com, and you can enter Amazon through the links there, Amazon Canada, UK, and Amazon US. You go into the right Amazon for you, and Free Talk Live will get a portion of your purchase price. Very, very simple. You get the stuff you're looking for at the typical Amazon. Great prices, huge selection, awesome reviews. You know what you're used to with Amazon. You're just entering through our affiliate link, so Free Talk Live gets a cut. So start your shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. We'll continue with universal basic income. Daryl, you had a little bit more you wanted to share on it. Also, first, we go to the phones, to Skype in this case, where Brian is on the line in California. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, guys. I just had to call because it's just so painful watching you guys trying to rationalize animal rights, if they exist at all, with the non-aggression principle especially. So, okay, so let me just disclose.
Well, thankfully, you are here to bring your brilliance to the discussion and set everyone straight. Even though I don't know if we were talking about the non-aggression principle, I think we were just talking about animal rights. But go ahead.
I think it was mentioned by Socrates. Go ahead.
Rights and non-aggression, it's very hard to separate the two. I mean, well, anyways.
Not for me. Anyway, go ahead.
I just throw them away. So, but anyway, so let me just...
Yeah, throw away rights. I mean, who cares about that stuff, right? You should just be able to use and abuse humans, right, Brian?
Again, rights don't make any sense without anyone providing them. Okay, so again, I couldn't find anything to describe myself. So
rights make sense because they're an agreement. You don't have to. No one has to hand them down or provide them. They are an agreement entered into between humans that helps humans interact with one another and helps us not kill each other and act like savages.
Again, it doesn't make any sense. Who decides what?
It may not make sense to you, but I think most people in this room understand rights.
No, you can't take that for granted because liberals think we have rights to education, healthcare, and all that.
I think Brian's
Who's
right.
to say they're wrong?
Brian's right is that the definition. Okay, so for me, Brian, and this is really important, rights stem from ownership, and rights are just
it's also another idea.
Yeah, function.
It sounds like another right.
Right. It's owner. Yeah, I mean it's
an agreement between humans. That's what ownership is.
Ownership is absolutely an agreement between humans. Like you and I are standing in front of each other. You have a hat on. I don't. I grab your hat. I put it on my head. In one world, it'd be like, oh yeah, we're sharing. In another world,
don't agree with
I'm
property.
just a jerk stealing your hat. So yes, I concur with you that different humans have different sort of ideas on what ownership is, and that what our job as libertarians is to define very specifically what ownership means.
I'm just frustrated because you seem to be introducing just another right here, a right to ownership.
That's right. It's an agreement between humans, and not all humans
I don't
agree.
think that it's another right. I think it is the right.
Well, that's your opinion, Mark, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, but some people don't even believe in property.
Okay, just for a second, okay, let me propose my view on I'm just going to drop rights analysis totally and non-aggression and introduce my view on how to analyze things properly, rationally, right?
I don't know if it's right. I doubt it, but go ahead.
Yeah, you didn't even hear. Okay, that's rational. Okay, so I couldn't find anything to label myself, right? Obviously, I'm not a libertarian because I don't endorse every person's liberty, right?
Yeah,
so,
you from what you've said before, you actually believe in, telling people what to do and controlling them.
No, not necessarily, right? I don't strawman me, Ian. Come on. So
that's my understanding of what you've said. You believe that you know how things should be organized.
It's a misunderstanding. Okay. Obviously, you haven't even heard my moral views. Usually, you hear my criticisms of yours.
Ah, okay.
So let me articulate.
So you don't believe that you should use the aggression on others. I'm pretty sure you've said that you embrace aggression previously.
Do you know the logical negation of the non-aggression principle, which is the statement all aggression is immoral? You know what the logical negation of that is?
I don't know.
It's some aggression is moral, right? And that's what I believe.
Okay.
Not all
right, so you do agree with aggression in certain cases.
Okay, so again, the logical negation of...
The certain cases are the ones you think it's worthy of using aggression for, right?
Yes. Now,
because you know what's best.
That's the question, right? When is it, then what are these cases of some? I mean...
Sure. Go ahead. Let us know.
So let me articulate. Okay, I label myself what's called an ego-utilitarian, right?
You made that up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there's nothing available that they came close to mine. I mean, there's something.
I think it's a good term for you because you are all about the ego and you're about what you consider
That's one half of it.
Right. And I was going to say you are about what you consider is most important for people, that you are willing to use aggression to achieve the ends of that you think are important.
Yes,
so you're
not
utilitarian.
all the time. So look at this. I say that aggression is a very expensive option, but it is not infinitely expensive. It's like
bullets are cheap.
No, come on, Ian. So it's like saying, okay, a Ferrari is expensive, therefore you should never buy it. That's how I see how obtuse the non-aggression principle is.
That's a moral statement, and you've already rejected morality, so we know you don't agree with that.
I reject your morality. So if you look at my morality, so I start from evolution, and I deduced morality from its perspective, and nothing else matters.
Meaning you think it's moral in certain circumstances to use aggression.
Yes.
Right.
That's fair to say.
Yeah.
No, that's the first fair thing you said so far. And I know you tried to portray it as something evil, but actually, let me.
Yeah, it's in my opinion evil, which is why I consider it immoral to use aggression, even if you think that the ends are worth the means.
Give me a couple minutes to expound my viewpoint. Okay.
I can't guarantee you anything. Go ahead though.
Okay, so I just want to. I'm an ego-utilitarian, right? And so I believe that the focus of any actor is the meta self, what I call the meta self, because I felt self-interest was insufficient, right? Obviously, we care about our kids. And there's some type, and friends and family and people we trade with, and there's some type of relationship there. There's even some points where self-sacrifice may be necessary.
You've defined a new kind of self and called it meta-self? Is that what's happened here? Oh, man. Sounds like a good theory. Why did we need a new self?
I'm not trying to be like metaphysical here. This is not really metaphysical, even though it shares a common prefix. Meta self is actually kind of mathematical, right? I needed something because I want to apply game theory to this later on, mathematical game theory, and come up with logical consequences that might turn out to be somewhat cool. This is somewhat evolutionary morality, right? So it should be in accordance with economics too. This is why
economics evolutionary too?
All over the map.
I see economics as just a strategy for an actor, right? So you're trying to.
Yep.
You're trying to optimize your strategy. That's it. I mean, for any actor, but evolution selects the optimum set of strategy for you, not you. Value is not subjective, and I don't want to get into that.
Value is not subjective.
Yeah, value is not. I don't want to get into that here. Just
then why even mention it?
Well,
because it is.
He's just throwing out all of these, ideas into the mix in some way to explain something that he has spent hours explaining on his YouTube channel in a 2-minute time frame. So good luck. Keep going.
Okay, so the focus of any actor is the meta self, right? So therefore, the rational.
No, I don't agree with you. Whenever you say right, it doesn't necessarily mean I agree with you.
That's his verbal crutch.
Yeah, it's a verbal crutch.
That's like some people saying
Right.
Oh, just hear me out first, okay? I know you.
We're trying. We're hearing you, but I don't know if we're understanding you.
Okay,
so go ahead.
Okay, so the
Keep
meta
spitting
self,
words out.
The meta self is your concept, right? So
it's your concept, sir.
It's you even have a concept. Ian has a concept. Everyone has a concept.
What is my concept? Can you help me with it?
It's a definition set that describes you perfectly. That has every description of you. Right?
How long is it?
Does it have a hole in there?
Do I have to keep
that
it
would have to be
below 100 words? I'm sure mine does.
So if you really look at it this way, right, and then you attribute weighting to it, it kind of everything makes sense. But let me go on. So there's a calculation using this meta self, a weighted meta self.
You're killing me, brother.
Yeah.
Seriously, do you have the formula for this calculation?
No.
Oh,
okay,
thank God.
It's all in his head.
But nature forces you to try to.
Okay. Okay.
It's like it forces you to play the game, and the more accurate you are to the actual meta, the weighted meta self in your calculation, the more.
I think you're the only one who has understood the last however many dozens of words have come out of your mouth. And
okay,
this is the.
I think Brian is dangerously intelligent, it's sort of expressing these ideas in the words that exist in the English language.
The danger is he's using all of this as an excuse to justify aggression in certain circumstances. Thanks for the call, Brian. Appreciate it. Folks who want to learn more about this rambling nonsense can go to your YouTube channel, which TJ found last night. Just search for Meta Self, and you'll find 25-minute plus long, 2-hour-long videos where Brian attempts to explain his beliefs and whatever you want to call that. So there you go.
I'm still curious about this calculation, and he said something about a game. It sounds like in war games, the only way to win is not to play.
Let me tell you, you don't want to play by watching his YouTube videos.
Yeah, the only way to win is not to play.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com.
When commercials come on, don't push the button. Instead, listen. Even if you don't sell things for a living, you're still selling in the various conversations and transactions that make up your busy day. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment, or the Office Max ad that says, you supply the ambition, we supply everything else. How about online ticket broker StubHub.com, the way in when it's sold out, or CyberCupidMatch.com's seductive, go ahead, it's okay to look. How cleverly and succinctly can you distill your message? For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are, 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Cop Block Radio is up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, April 13th, 2016. Silver is trading at $16.14 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,246 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $427. Antiwar.com reports Israel's Supreme Court has shot down a Freedom of Information request by attorneys related to the nation's export of arms to Rwanda during the 1990 to 1995 period, accepting the Defense Ministry's argument that national security depended on keeping the matter secret. The attorneys seeking the information noted that the sales, in at least part of this period, would have violated international law and a UN Security Council weapons embargo imposed in the midst of the genocide in Rwanda. During the spring of 1994, between 500,000 to 1 million Tutsi civilians in Rwanda were massacred by the government and its supporters, nominally to prevent the implementation of a power-sharing deal negotiated by the international community. Israel exported rifles and ammunition to Rwanda, which was used by the regime in its genocide, but the extent of it has remained uncertain, and no one involved has ever been held to account. The court's ruling will likely keep it that way. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports an extremely popular porn website has banned all North Carolina customers in protest of the state's controversial transgender restroom bill known as House Bill 2. The site xhamster.com announced Monday it would black out any customer with a North Carolina IP address. Customers in the state who try to enter the site are greeted by a message that says, "Stop your homophobic insanity." Xhamster.com spokesman Mike Kulik said in a statement, "We are appalled by the recent events that have transpired in North Carolina. As of today, access to Xhamster is blacked out in the state of North Carolina until further notice. We will not stand by and pump revenue into a system that promotes this type of garbage. We respect all sexualities and embrace them." Web traffic analytic Alexa ranks the site in the top 100 in the world for traffic. Xhamster's move to deny content is a new approach to boycotts that have proven to be effective in reaction to certain legislation over the years. After House Bill 2, PayPal said it was scrapping its plans to open a global operations center in the state, and Bruce Springsteen canceled a concert. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports Texas taxpayers picked up most of the $200,000 bill for the so-called affluenza teen's court-ordered rehabilitation and a probation deal that kept him out of prison for killing 4 people while driving intoxicated. Ethan Couch, who turns 19 years old this week and was 16 at the time of the incident, will be in a Tarrant County adult court on Wednesday for a likely determination of how much time behind bars he must spend for violating the probation deal. The Fort Worth Star-Telegram, citing court documents, said taxpayers paid more than $150,000 of the bill for his year-long rehabilitation because his parents were supposedly unable to pay for all of the treatment. At Couch's trial in juvenile court in 2013, a psychologist testified for the defense that Couch was so spoiled by his wealthy parents he could not tell right from wrong. The psychologist described the affliction as affluenza, a term that quickly became a media buzzword. Couch was sentenced to 10 years probation, during which he was to refrain from alcohol and be drug-free. The sentence sparked outrage from critics who ridiculed the affluenza defense and said his family's wealth helped the teen stay out of jail. Couch and his mother, Tanya, fled Texas in December, apparently to avoid arrest for violating the drink and drug-free probation deal. Ethan Couch has been in custody since he was brought back from Mexico in January. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Seniors thunder into a local high school parking lot like coalition forces entering Baghdad. A substitute teacher just needs to make it to her car before breaking down in tears. And a college freshman tells his roommate there's no need to hide his masturbation from him. And now a week in review that truly requires no introduction. The nation's students announced this week that they have reluctantly agreed to give the American education system yet another chance, saying they hope educators keep their promises of smaller class size, better school supplies, and intensified efforts to raise the country's international math ranking. The nation's students vowed to give the education system one more shot, despite claiming to have been burned many, many times in the past. In other news, a man overcomes alcoholism without the help of Jesus, and an outcast student and a lonely teacher have begun a somewhat endearing sexual relationship. And that was a free lesson in top-shelf journalism. For more news, videos, and reminders of your insignificance, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John don't come for you?
Cop Block Radio is filmed live in secret locations across the country. All co-hosts are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. What's up, guys? Another great episode, another great week. It's been a busy week. Lots of fun. We got tons of stories, but it's been a really fun week. Not one of those sad weeks where you got to walk around with your head down because a cop blocker's been jailed or something like that. We didn't have anybody go to jail this week, did we, guys? Wearing a fuck the police shirt to court and telling the judge to jail you does not count as going to jail. Let's be clear. Total. What's up, Josh? Josh is the founder of, what is it, Iowa City Cop Block. And you're getting... I heard that you officially made the big time today, Josh. Chris Cantwell made a post about you. You mean he didn't call you a cuck? Yeah, what's up with that? Oh, man. This guy's going off the deep end. I don't even feel like he deserves a plug on the show, but hey, Chris Cantwell, he's a lunatic. If you really want to crack up, just go and listen to his show. I call him Chris Can't Get Well. He's just got a... He's like an angry man. That's all he is like a balding, angry man that yells into the microphone and like attacks everybody and wants to hang all the liberals. And I don't know, I guess it can kind of be funny, but he's actually serious about it. And he does have a kind of insane following that the kind of people that follow him are kind of nuts. No, I think he went autistic. He went full retard, and